Welcome back to reviewing every single Star Wars movie. Yes, we are back with number 2, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, the second prequel movie, of course, from George Lucas. Another film that is very divisive, and I am on one side of that divided argument. I am on the side that says, this movie kind of fucking sucks. Now, Star Wars Attack of the Clones takes place a bunch of years after The Phantom Menace, a movie that I already reviewed. Go check that out. And it introduces Hayden Christensen for the first time as an older Anakin Skywalker, playing Anakin, who is a Padawan Jedi. He is learning how to be a Jedi, operating under Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, his brother-in-arms, and of course the Obi-Wan we knew from the original trilogy, and the Obi-Wan from the prequel Phantom Menace. The whole basis of this movie is that it's kind of like a political thriller. There's something brewing in the galaxy. There's assassination attempts, there's rumors, there's people disappearing, there's this whole idea that something's about to blow up. There's kind of like, it's like a ticking time bomb of war. Something's about to go on. And at the center of it, you have Anakin and Obi-Wan, who have been tasked with protecting Natalie Portman's Padme character. Anakin in this movie is tasked with protecting her because they think there's going to be a threat on her life, or they know there's a threat on her life, so he takes her and he goes off to another planet to protect her, where they have a very, very boring love story where they talk about sand.
I don't like sand.
And that's one of my problems with this movie. Everything with Anakin and Padme, trash. Except the music. The music is great. But then you have Ewan McGregor chasing a bounty hunter, chasing Jango Fett, and he chases him all the way to this planet Kamino, this ocean water planet, and he gets into a bunch of drama there, and ultimately the whole film kind of builds up to the start of the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars, which had been hyped up throughout the original movies, and this whole trilogy at the time was being hyped up as the Clone Wars trilogy. It was going to be what that name sort of represents. You have this clone army of the Republic fighting this robot droid army of the Separatists, and at the center of it, you have Palpatine. How could this movie fail? You also get Christopher Lee playing Count Dooku, the brand new villain. Since they got rid of Maul in the last one, you don't have Vader yet, so you need a big, bad, scary dude. So let's get old man Christopher Lee being a badass, talking his shit. He's awesome. Count Dooku is the best part of this movie. Now you might be wondering why I don't love this movie personally, why I think it's a pile of shit. Well, Attack of the Clones is probably the hardest to watch, I think, of any of these movies, besides one that I will be talking about sometime next week. It's a movie that moves really slow, and I don't want to say there's nothing ever interesting happening in this movie, but there's nothing ever really interesting happening in this movie. I will say the movie has one of the best openings of the series. This weird chase going through Coruscant with Anakin and Obi-Wan, chasing down the bounty hunter. They go onto the streets of Coruscant. And, there's a lot of cool visual stuff there that works really well. But as soon as the movie slows down and sort of gets us into the slower political plotting of the film, and we're watching Anakin and Padme for so long do nothing except sell this bullshit relationship that nobody cares about yet. Just none of it works. And yeah, a lot of the stuff with Obi-Wan on Carino actually is cool. They do some cool world building stuff. I think the fight with Jango Fett is cool. I think the whole space fight with Jango Fett with those big explosion things, you know, the things. We love those things. Those things are the best. And then everything happens near the end of the movie when they're on that desertish planet that I'm forgetting the name of. I'm sorry, Star Wars fans. But that whole, slowly building up towards the final fight is just kind of slow. It takes so long to develop, and the writing. This movie has some of the worst George Lucas writing we've had. Of course, I've talked about the sand line, but there are just so many bad examples of some of the writing here.
I killed them. I killed them all.
And it's, over time, it's become fun. It's a very fun thing to watch Ewan McGregor as this character of Obi-Wan selling these lines, and Hayden Christensen selling these lines. It's not a bad thing anymore. We laugh at it. We love it. What would the world be without some of this shit? But it's not good. It's just not. The CGI is not great. Just a lot of the story that's being told here feels like filler. It feels like we're waiting to get into episode 3. I think the whole final fight is okay. This whole idea of this army of Jedi fighting all of these, droids and stuff is cool on paper. Visually, it just kind of looks like a... What does it look like, Roman?
Suffering succotash, son! I
think the final fight with Dooku is cool, but it's not as cool as the fight with Darth Maul. Definitely a step down. I think the Yoda fight, I'm a fan of it, but it's got its problems. The ending of the movie with the Clone Wars actually starting is a very cool touch, and it kind of launches into the animated Clone Wars show, and then the Revenge of the Sith. But yes, it is a good ending, but overall this movie just feels like, it's like the one Star Wars movie I refuse to watch again, outside of one other one. But this movie just, when I look at it and I think about what moments does this movie have that I need to go back and watch, that get me hyped as a Star Wars fan, that get me emotional as a Star Wars fan, and I look through, and it's like there's cool moments, there's little highs, there's little peaks, and little things that I enjoy, like I said, the Dooku Yoda fight, the Jango Fett Obi-Wan fight, there's stuff in the film that works, the opening, but there are just such long stretches of this film that water down those moments, that there is no one true moment in this film that makes it a great Star Wars watch. It just ends up being kind of a slugfest. And not like a slugfest, like a slugfest, you know, like a sleep fest. It's boring, guys. And yet again, I always look at this trilogy as, I feel like George Lucas, when he was planning the prequel trilogy, he had the script for Revenge of the Sith, and he said, this is the prequels. This is what it's going to be about. And somebody says, well, George, you can't just make that movie. You're going to have to make 2 movies before that, prequels to the prequel, to explain how we get to that point. And George said, why? Why do I have to do that? That's a lot of fucking work. There's nothing interesting that happens before this. And we got The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones to, you know, varying degrees of success. And obviously I'm wrong. Obviously he had planned these movies out like that, but that's just how I've always felt about it, just because I think the quality, and we'll talk about it in the review, but the quality of Revenge of the Sith, I just think is leaps and bounds ahead of the quality of these previous 2 movies, and, it's weird to me. But overall, Attack of the Clones is an okay time. I will give Attack of the Clones a 2 out of 5. It's not dog shit, it's not a 1, but it's just probably my second or third least favorite in this whole series. But I don't know, that's just me. I know there's people that love this movie, so let me know. Do you guys like Attack of the Clones? If you do, let me know down below what I'm wrong about. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, turn on notifications, click the video on your screen right now. I will see you guys in the next one.